All right, the different types of debt. A lot of people try to quantify debt one way or another. There's specific ways, though, that I like to think of debt. First of all, you've got secured and unsecured debt. If you're not familiar with the term, secured means that you've put up something as collateral for the loan or the money that you're borrowing or whatever. Examples of this are car loans, mortgages. Sometimes you might put up an investment like some stocks or bonds, some securities of some sort. And of course, a boat, right, will act as security for a boat loan. Things of that nature. Why is it all the way out here? Dang. Okay. You're basically allowing the person to put a lien against the item, meaning if you don't pay the loan, they get to take the item from you and try to sell it off to recoup their losses. That's how that works. That's what a secured loan is all about. Now there's unsecured loans. A lot of people are familiar with these. Things like credit cards. They don't have any sort of collateral. Student loans, signature loans. They're called signature loans because basically all that's required after you've, proven your ability to pay and they've had some way of assessing your credit worthiness, like, checking your credit score. All that you need then is a signature. You're just putting your good name to it and saying that you'll pay it back. Now, of course, secured loans don't represent much risk for the lender. Okay, they've got something that they can get some money out of if they need to, right? So those type of loans tend to also have a lower interest rate attached to them, as opposed to unsecured loans where lenders are taking a huge gamble on you and your willingness and ability to pay, right? Now, in addition to this, there's two types of debt. Another way, there is revolving debt and installment debt, okay? Revolving debt is debt that you could continuously borrow and pay back, okay? Again, credit cards are an example of this. Home equity lines of credit are another example of this. Now, home equity line of credit is a secured debt, whereas a credit card is not. But the principle continues to is the same. The revolving debt, you can use the money, you can pay it back and keep using it again, and typically, as long as you stay in good standing, you could do that indefinitely. Oh, is that my... No. Of course not. That would have been too easy. Trying to get this treasure. Alright, let's widen our circle just a little bit right here. Alright, well, with installment debt is usually a set amount, a set term, a set payment schedule, okay? So everything is clearly defined. With revolving debt, of course, your payment can fluctuate along with the balance. The more you owe, the more your payment will be. The less you owe, the less your payment will be. With installment debt, though, everything is fixed. So going into it, hey, I'm going to be paying for this amount of time. My payments are always going to be such and such. And I know that I'm going to be in debt for exactly this long. Okay? Now, there's another type of debt that it's its own category, or some examples of installment debt are such things as those signature loans that I mentioned. Student loans, of course. Mortgages are an example of installment debt. A lot of people put mortgages into their own category, and with good reason. There we go. Found the treasure. What is it? What is it? Oh, that's kind of lame compared to the other treasures. Man, that's a bit disappointing, I gotta say. All right. Now, the reason I say that mortgages tend to fall into their own debt category is because they are a secured loan. They are against your house. Your house is your collateral for your loan typically. But there is a wide variety of mortgage types, okay? There's conventional mortgage, FHA, which is first-time home buyers, right? There's VA loans for people that have been in the service. There are adjustable rate mortgages where the rate will fluctuate based on some sort of index. Spoiler alert, usually the rate goes up, it almost never goes down. They tend to push those adjustable rate mortgages whenever they're expecting the rates to be going up in their favor and staying up for a while. There's also something called a balloon note. That's a type of mortgage where you have low payments for a while, and then you will have a large sum of money due after a certain period. I don't know how much they do those these days. I do know that they used to be a very big deal, but people got wise, and so institutions kind of quit doing it. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to quantifying debt, want to put it in terms of good debt versus bad. They want to say, oh, good debt is stuff that increases your net worth or enhances your life. And they want to say that bad debt is debt that you spend mainly on material things. They typically want to pigeonhole and say, oh, your mortgage or your student loans, those are examples of good debt, and credit cards are examples of bad debt. Well, the line on that gets really fuzzy, let me tell you. And the reason I say that is because student loan can be good debt if you're using that student loan to get a degree in something that's going to establish a career for you. If you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, architect, engineer, something of that nature, then yeah, your student loan debt is probably good debt. Are you paying too much for that degree? Oh, that's a whole different debate. But for right now, we're just going to say, oh yeah, that's probably good debt. However, student loan, just to go find yourself and get, and figure your life out. Oh, I'll figure out once I'm in college what I really want to do with my life. Or some silly ass humanities degree that doesn't really do anything for you, like a philosophy degree. Yeah, that is bad debt right there. Okay? That's not debt that you want to be accumulating, because you're going to look back in life and you're going to be, oh crap, I really shouldn't have done that. I wasted a bunch of time and energy for nothing. Okay? Car loans. All right, well, if you're getting a car loan on just your signature, then I would say that's a pretty damn good deal. My biggest beef with car loans is if you're already having trouble paying them back, right? They can come and gaffle your car, which makes your situation 10 times worse when you've used the car's collateral. So I would consider car loans, where your car is collateral, to be bad debt, personally, even though it could be argued that having a car enhances your life. So the good debt, bad debt thing really gets to be kind of a bit of a rabbit hole and a slippery slope. There's a lot of rationalization that can go into that. And so that's why I stay away from those terms. And just to drive a final nail in that coffin, a home. A mortgage is typically considered a good debt because a home is usually something that appreciates. However, not always. If you get a mortgage on a home in Detroit, I don't know that that's necessarily good debt, right? Another thing is if you've used a balloon note. Did I just see the ground there? Was that? No, curses. If you had a balloon note, then I wouldn't consider that to be good debt either, because that's just a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, your payments are going to be really low, and then sooner or later they're going to hit you with, oh, we want $100,000 by tomorrow. Yeah, not a lot. Ooh, there's a pig. There's a pig. So, I just want you guys to be aware that rather than identifying good versus bad, you should focus on. I would prefer you to think of it in terms of revolving and installment. Installment loans are much better because they have a definite end date, and you know most of what's up with them, right? It's not something that tends to come back and bite you in the ass. Whereas revolving debt, that is kind of bad debt. Being able to constantly, and it never being out of the hole, never paying that off. But guys, that's all I'm going to get into on the subject of debt. There's a lot more that could be said, but that's future videos. If you've got questions about debt, dang, I lost that pig. If you got questions, oh, there it is. If you got questions about debt, hit me with it at fustyandfinance@gmail.com. Or as always, leave it in the comments below this video if you're watching it on YouTube.